You think you know the top-selling reggae name of the 1960s? But I'm telling you right now, it's probably not who you're about to type in the comments. Because in the 60s, Jamaican music wasn't just reggae yet. It was ska, rocksteady, and early reggae, and one artist from that era moved wild, world-shaking numbers that most people never connect to reggae history. Picture it: hot Kingston afternoons, sound system shaking zinc fences, then the music catching flights, landing in London dances, UK charts, and finally the global pop market, where one record becomes a straight-up international monster. Here's the problem: people argue this topic with feelings, not receipts. So today, we're doing it the clean way: chart-proof, sales-proof, and decade context, to answer one question with no guessing. Who really sold the most in the 1960s reggae era? By the end, you'll know the real number one, the surprise name with the biggest documented sales, and you'll see why even legends like Marley weren't the 60s sales king, because the timeline and the numbers don't lie. Number 10, the Ethiopians, Trained to Scavel. I remember this one sounding like a door opening. Bright horns, quick steps, and that everybody move bounce. It feels like a Kingston evening turning into a London blues dance without even changing the record. This cut landed in 1967, and it became a real UK moment. It even touched the UK chart, which was a big deal for Jamaican music at the time. In Jamaica, it's tied to the rocksteady to early reggae shift, when the groove started breathing heavier and the beat got more streetwise. Fun fact, the title alone sold the dream. Scavel felt like a real place, like a musical city you could enter if you knew the rhythm. It's underrated now because people hear the horns and file it under old ska stuff, not realizing it's part of the bridge that led straight into reggae's global run. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, same era, but the story gets more raw and everyday.
All right, C-Trends fam, let's keep it real. We're pouring our hearts into bringing you the best celebrity news and music deep dives. But check it, a massive 98% of you aren't subscribed yet. Subscribing is how you can truly support us, helping us grow and create even better content. If you're vibing with what we do, take a sec to hit that subscribe button. It's free and makes a huge difference. Plus, ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Let's flip that 98% and build this C-Trends family together. Your support is everything.
Number 9, the Pioneers, Long Shot Kick the Bucket. This one feels like a whole neighborhood leaning over a sound system box, laughing and arguing about what just happened. It's playful, but there's tension in it, like money on the line and pride on the line too. It came out around 1969 and crossed over hard in the UK, a Trojan era favorite that charted when reggae was starting to feel like a real movement in Britain, not just a import record. The songs built on a real-life moment people talked about, so it felt like news you could dance to. Fun fact, the title is basically street talk turned into a hook, One of those phrases that sticks in your head even if you don't fully know the backstory yet.
It happened in the first race, and it called up the place.
It's underrated today because it's not tied to one superstar name, and a lot of people only know it as a party oldie, not a cultural snapshot.
It happened in the first race.
This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening, because the next one is where the future king shows up before the world even knew his name. Number 8, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Simmer Down. When I first heard this, it felt like a warning with a smile, sweet harmonies on top, but the message is serious. You can picture a hot Kingston street, tensions high, and the music trying to cool things before it boils over. This is early Wailers, Studio One era, cut under Clement Coxsone Dodd, and it was a big local hit in 1964 when the island sound was still leaning ska. Lyrically, it's basically telling the rude boys, easy, don't wreck the place, which makes it feel like a community speaking to itself. Fun fact, it's one of those early records where you can already hear Marley's magnet, like the spotlight is warming up before it fully hits him in the 70s. It's underrated in the top-selling 60s conversation because people start Marley's story at the international explosion, not at the groundwork and the local chart battles. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, sharper suit, darker grin, and the rude boy image goes worldwide.
Don't call me Scarface. My name.
Number 7, Prince Buster, Al Capone. This record walks in like it owns the room. Cool, tough, and stylish, like a rude boy in a pressed suit with a story behind his shades. I remember hearing it and thinking, yeah, this isn't just a song, it's a character. It blew up in the UK in 1967 and became a real crossover moment. It hit the UK charts and helped push that Jamaican swagger into British youth culture. Prince Buster's whole sound was part street report, part dance floor weapon, and this one carried that attitude perfectly. Fun fact, Al Capone didn't just influence reggae, people credit it as a seed that fed later UK scenes too, because the vibe was so strong and easy to copy. It's underrated now because newer listeners know the image, but they don't go back to the original record that helped build that image in the first place. This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening, because the next one takes the rude boy theme and turns it into an international headline. Number 6, Desmond Dekker and the Aces, 007, Shantytown. This one feels like a movie poster pasted on a hard reality. Bond-style cool on the outside, but the streets aren't playing. I can see it. A crowded dance, bass shaking the floor, and everybody singing like it's their own story. It dropped in 1967, produced by Leslie Kong, and it became a historic UK breakthrough. It charted in the UK, showing Jamaican-made records could compete in the mainstream. The song talks about rude boy life and social pressure, but it's catchy enough that even people who didn't understand every word still felt it. Fun fact, years later, other groups re-recorded it and brought it back, which tells you how strong the original idea was. It's underrated because people treat it like a fun old tune and forget it's also a social document. Music as a mirror. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, instrumental, no big lyrics, but the story behind it gets messy. Number 5, Harry J Allstars, The Liquidator. This is pure sound system pressure. No talking, just groove, like the speakers are doing the speaking for you. I remember how it could flip a room. 1 second people are chatting, next second everybody's moving. It came out in 1969, and in the UK it hit hard. It reached the UK top 10, coming through the Trojan pipeline when reggae instrumentals were storming British charts. It's tied to the Harry J camp, and the rhythm became a global stadium kind of chant long before people used that phrase. Fun fact, the band on recordings like this often overlapped with top Jamaican players of the era, real studio sharks who could cut a classic fast. Controversy. Payoff, the one I teased. Remember when I said some of these hits have clean legends and some have complicated paperwork? This is one of the complicated ones. Over the years, different people have told different versions about how Liquidator came together. Some accounts say it grew out of a track meant for another artist, and other stories question how the credits were handled once it got licensed overseas. In interviews, musicians around that scene have suggested the core idea may have been connected to earlier Rocksteady patterns, while the official release still pushed forward under the Harry J Allstars name. That kind of label and credit fog mattered because it shapes who gets paid, who gets remembered, and who gets left out of the story. And that's why this tune isn't just music, it's history. It's underrated today because people recognize the melody but don't know the backstory. And without that story, it gets treated like just a sporty instrumental. This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening because the next song is the pretty one, but it's also a message to the whole world. Number 4, Jimmy Cliff, Wonderful World, Beautiful People. This one feels like sunlight after a hard week, hopeful, warm, but not naive. I remember it sounding like reggae stepping out in clean clothes, ready to speak to everybody, not just the yard. It was released in 1969, produced by Leslie Kong, and it became a major UK moment. It hit the UK top 10 with Trojan behind it. The lyrics are basically Jimmy saying, look at the world, we can do better. And he even name drops world leaders to make the point feel real and current. Fun fact, Part of the sound was polished up for international ears, proof that reggae was already being shaped for the bigger stage. It's underrated now because people talk about Jimmy Cliff's later global impact and forget he was already landing big international hits before the 70s wave fully broke. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, a cowboy movie title, Jamaican speakers, and a UK chart run that shocked people. Number 3, The Upsetters, Return of Django. This one hits like a chase scene, fast, swaggering, and a little mischievous, like the band is grinning while they play. I can still picture hearing it in a record shop booth and thinking, how is an instrumental telling a whole movie? It's a Lee Scratch Perry production from the late 60s, 1969 run, and it became a real UK breakout. It hit the UK top 5, which is crazy for a reggae-flavored instrumental at that time. The title taps into the Django Western hype, and the rhythm did the rest. No translation needed. Fun fact, instrumentals like this traveled well because the vibe is universal. If the groove is right, language doesn't matter. It's underrated today because people know Perry as a dub wizard and studio myth. So this earlier pop chart moment gets skipped in the story. This is Crate Digger Gold. Keep listening because the next one is the big one, the song that made history on the charts. Number 2, Desmond Dekker and the Aces, Israelites. When this drops, it feels like the whole working day turning into a chant. Tired feet, early mornings, bills, pressure, all of it dancing together. I remember how it made people move even when the words flew past them. Recorded in 1968 and exploding worldwide in 1969, produced by Leslie Kong, this one became a landmark. It hit number 1 in the UK and even cracked the US top 10. The lyrics are about everyday struggle, but the melody is so strong it carried Jamaican sound straight into the global mainstream. Fun fact, a lot of listeners overseas didn't understand every line, but they felt the emotion. Proof that reggae can communicate with pure rhythm and feeling. It's underrated now because it got so famous that people treat it like oldies background music instead of recognizing how revolutionary it was for Jamaican music on the world stage. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next tune, this is the true surprise because the biggest 60s sales story doesn't come from who most people expect.
Quick break. If you love music stories like this, check out our sponsor, The Lore Store on Amazon. It's like a special music collection with books, vinyl, gear, and culture picks for rock, pop, hip-hop, R&B, Afro music, and reggae. What I like is that it's not random stuff. Everything is picked on purpose, and there are some real hidden gems in there. And just so you know, when a good item sells out, it may not come back. The link is in the description, and if you shop through it, you're also supporting this channel.
One of those lightning in a bottle moments that labels spend decades chasing. It's underrated in reggae conversations because people misfile it as novelty pop and forget it was one of the first times the world bought Jamaican sound at truly massive scale. This is crate digger gold hiding in plain sight.